Thank you everyone for coming in on such a gorgeous day. So kudos to you for breaking the threshold and coming inside. Because this is the long-awaited spring, right? The spring that never came. But the branch brought spring, so thank you. I'm Ann Herder-Rapp. I'm the campus executive here at the Wausau campus. And I'm absolutely delighted to see you here. And let me tell you why. We were scheduled to host Demo Day in spring of 2020. Do you remember spring of 2020? We all want to forget spring of 2020. We were raring to go. We were so excited to host, and then of course everything shut down. So 2 years later, here we are, and we couldn't be happier to have you here. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to the Chamber for bringing it here. And so we're going to celebrate what the students have done, because their hard work is always thrilling to see what you guys have done, and we watch with pride. So enjoy the next couple of hours. So I don't know if I told you who I am. I'm Ann Herder-Rapp. I'm the campus executive here at the Wausau campus. Good, forgot that part. So I want to acknowledge the various people that are involved in bringing the branch here and pulling it off every year, every semester. First and foremost, the students. So students this year are participating from North Central Technical College. Why don't you raise your hands at where you're from? NTC? Raise your hands. All right, good. When we've got students from UW-Stevens Point at Marshfield. Good job. We've got students from UWSP at Wausau. Good job. And we've got, I think, at least one student from UW-Stevens Point main campus, correct? 2. All right. Excellent. So we're looking forward to seeing the yield of your hard work today. But I also want to acknowledge the mentors from Church Mutual Insurance and Reuter Ware. If you folks could raise your hands so we could see who you all are. Thank you, because your hard work too it will be on stage today. And then there are coaches that are involved weekly in prepping the students and engaging the students. And we want to show our appreciation to them in guiding each of the teams. So let's acknowledge those folks too. Misty Wolf, here she is, awesome. And Megan Unseth, did I say it right? I should know that. Good. So thank you, both. And then the faculty member that's assigned to the branch, Kimberly Reed. Thank you. And then we have a number of business partners too that it's important to recognize for supporting this effort. Ansay and Associates, Aero Global, the Greater Wausau Chamber of Commerce, M3 Insurance, North Central Healthcare, Incredible Bank, Wausau River District, and Westfall Staffing. And then it's also interesting to see too that previous cohorts have been involved in mentoring this group of students as well. And I think in many respects, the previous cohorts, they deserve some acknowledgement, because while they did the work, they didn't necessarily get to do their presentations, especially that spring 2020 cohort. So we weren't able to acknowledge them publicly and in the form of a demo day. So maybe today we could all think of them as well. So the next thing I want to do before we actually get to the presentations is to let you know a little bit about how students are recruited to the branch. And so this is very much a partnership between the higher ed providers in our area. And so the UW-Stevens Point School of Business and Economics funds scholarships and then recruits students through its Anderson Classroom to Career Center. So some students that you see here today were recruited that way. We are looking ahead to next year's demo day and next year's branch. And so interested businesses, if you like what you see today, you might contact Lucas Lindner. Where's Lucas? There you are, Lucas. Wave your hand so everybody can find out where you are. So find Lucas at the end if you're interested in being one of the businesses that, as I'll explain, has a need for a team of students to come in and provide solutions. So the branch, I think, is this really cool and unique thing that really connects the community and higher ed providers and local businesses. And the uniqueness of it is that it brings together these students who work in teams to collaborate to solve a business problem, to identify that business problem, right? Really tear it apart, understand its nature, and then work at arriving at solutions to that problem. So it's a very grounded, kind of ground up sort of project. It's a rich learning experience for the students. I'm sure that that's what they'll speak to today, and you should feel free to ask them questions about their experience, because that's also part of the learning process. So it also, I think, fosters lasting relationships with businesses, the businesses that they collaborate with, but it also forms lasting relationships with the community. And one of the priorities increasingly in our area is to identify and keep talent like them, right? And this is one of those programs that I think does that very well. So let's hit it. We're going to start with our first presentation, and this is with Reuter Ware, and so I welcome up Amy Ebeling and the students.
Good afternoon. My name is Amy Ebeling, and I'm an attorney with the Reuter Ware Law Firm. Reuter Ware is proud to be part of the branch program and support this unique opportunity for local businesses to work with tomorrow's leaders. The branch is an important program for our community as it allows businesses to collaborate and connect with students looking to enter the workforce in the near future. The branch also provides a rare opportunity for businesses like us to access thoughtful, creative, and innovative solutions to various challenges. Reuter Ware challenged the branch to help us with the same problem plaguing every business in the country: recruiting and retaining talented employees, and specifically for us, talented attorneys. Reuter Ware, with 3 different offices across the state in Eau Claire, Wausau, and Green Bay, has provided a wide range of legal services to business owners, managers, and individual clients and families since its founding in 1920. We have almost 50 attorneys. Those 50 attorneys range from new attorneys having just graduated from law school to the old guys who have been practicing law for over 35 years. With over 100 years in existence, we have always been thoughtful about the firm's future and succession. Participating in the branch program is simply one more way for us to think about the future. The branch program gave us an opportunity to get perspective from students who have not yet entered the workforce and learn from them what they value in an employer and employee relationship. It also allowed the student team members to learn about law firms and the practice of law. Some may consider a legal path following this experience, and some, or more likely most of them, have learned or come to the realization that the law firm life may not be for them. And that's okay too. It's better that they figure that out now through this experience than after 3 years of law school and 3 years of law school debt. So we are happy to have participated, and we are grateful for this experience. So without further delay, I introduce to you our branch team. Aaron Baker, a student at the University of Wisconsin-Stevens Point. Sean Bohan, a student at North Central Technical College. Audrey Cleveland, a student at the University of Wisconsin-Stevens Point, Wausau. Alexia Nelson, a student at the University of Wisconsin-Stevens Point, Wausau. Lysandra Ortiz, a student at the University of Wisconsin-Stevens Point at Wausau, and finally Gabe Weeks, a student at the University of Wisconsin-Stevens Point, Wausau. So please join me in welcoming them to the floor. Thank you.
Can you guys hear me? Hello, everyone. We'd like to thank everyone for taking time out of your busy schedules to come listen to our presentation. Before we dive in, we'd like to introduce ourselves to you guys. My name's Gabe Weeks. I'm studying business administration at UWSP in Wausau, and I'll be graduating in 2023 in December.
My name is Aaron Baker. I'm studying psychology and business at UWSP, and I'm graduating this August.
I'm Sean Bohan. I'm studying software development at NTC, and I'll be graduating probably in 2025.
I'm Alexia Nelson. I'm studying in business administration. I go to UWSP at Wausau, and I'm going to be graduating May 2024.
My name is Lysandra Ortiz, and my major is finance, and I'll be graduating May 2025 from the University of Stevens Point.
And my name's Audrey Cleveland. I study finance at UWSP at Wausau, and I'll be graduating in May of 2025.
So the project that Rootaware gave us was, how does Rootaware enhance the ability to retain attorneys throughout the firm? During the course of the branch program, we discovered that Rootaware did not have an immediate retention issue, but with the current job market, it is important to retain attorneys. And our team brought a lot of different skill sets to the table, and we were able to create an opportunity to help Rootaware create that long-term place of work.
So just a little bit about the market. During the pandemic, nationwide, law firms face the challenge that they might lose about 25% of their attorneys. So in a national associate turnover rate was about 23.2%, which was up 5% from what it normally is. And that comes from the ABA Journal. Actually, Forbes.com did a study that says there are 3 things that will keep an attorney. The first is autonomy. This is when someone feels like they can freely express themselves at work. No one wants to come into work, have to put on a face in the parking lot because that's what the company image is, right? Everyone wants to freely express themselves. And they said that companies who do this have a 4 times higher growth rate and about 1/3 of the turnover rate, And then the next one is relatedness. This is when someone feels welcome and can get along with people that they work with. A study done at the Harvard Law, 2 professors did it, Scott Westphal and David Wilkins, said that attorneys use networks to promote their technical and professional skills, and that will allow them to build themselves up as an attorney and learn more about how they can solve problems. And the third one is mastery. Lawyers love when they master their domain or their practice group. And how they do this is getting frequent feedback from what they're doing right and coaching and mentoring through things that maybe could use a little work. And with that, that'll give them that sense of mastery.
So throughout our customer discovery process, we interviewed about 25% of Rootware's 40 to 45 attorneys. These interviews consisted of both associates and shareholders from all 3 of their branches, which are Wausau, Green Bay, and Eau Claire. So for a little bit of background, when an attorney graduates from law school and joins a firm, they start out as an associate, and then after a period of time, it's about 8 years for Rootware, they can potentially become a shareholder and take ownership in that firm. So our specific customer is new associates, but by also interviewing and talking to shareholders, we gained a full perspective on the experience of being an associate. Some things that we learned are that the typical attorney at Rootware is from Wisconsin, but not everybody is from the area that they work in. And so it's important for new attorneys to make strong connections with their coworkers and the area so that they gain a sense of belonging. Additionally, we learned that mentorship is extremely important for new attorneys and having someone they can go to in those first couple of years just for guidance. And by speaking to both attorneys and representatives at Rootware, we discovered that they don't have any major problem areas. And so instead, we focused on looking at the key values that their attorneys hold and finding ways to make those areas even better. Additionally, we wanted to help create an atmosphere that would allow for attorneys to share their concerns openly and find solutions. So at this point, our focus became, how can Rooterware further increase their attorneys' amount of social interaction and ability to share input openly?
So through our research, we learned a lot about an attorney's work life and the operations of a law firm as a whole. We learned how complex a law firm is with everything and everyone involved, and that complexity continues down to an individual level, with workloads, client relationships, relationships within the firm, all on top of balancing a personal life. There's a lot going on. Let's see. We had to come up with an idea that would reach as many people as possible, while still kind of being flexible enough to account for their schedules. Sorry, I'm like... Using the data we gathered from our interviews, a common theme among the people we interviewed was the value of social interaction between attorneys. Being an attorney at Rooterware is more than just putting in billing hours and establishing client relationships. It also involves connecting with others in the firm to be a successful member of the team. So with all that in mind, our first solution that we've named Monthly Boost is a short monthly event that could be small in-office events, something like an organized lunch, or even smaller and simpler, donuts in the break room, which I've heard happens a lot, so maybe something else. It could also be something larger and maybe off-site, something like dinner and drinks at a restaurant after the workday, or something a little more engaged like axe throwing or a game night. We also think a really interesting way to kind of lead it and host it would be to have a shareholder kind of run the event, maybe not so much organize it. They already represent the sort of culture that Rooterware wants, and they could kind of add a personal touch or like a central storyteller role to the gathering. There's a lot of range involved with this event that could change on a month-to-month basis, and we think that would actually be a very positive thing to bring to the event structure.
Our second solution are workshops. Workshops happen after 2 monthly boosts, and they take more of a step into the business side of interaction. During these workshops, there would be providing of stories or visual aids to describe something that they want to improve upon or something that is doing well within the business themselves, and also bring together the entirety of Rooterware to solve problems, along with maybe doing some yoga as well.
These workshops are meant to express concerns and come up with potential solutions as a company. Sorry. Okay. But prior to the workshop, an anonymous survey will be given out to come up with or gather information about what would be discussed at the workshop. Okay. Sorry. What? Yeah, sure. No, okay, I got this. All right. All right. No. Okay. Dang.
As he was saying, surveys would be sent out to the people within Rooterware to get information and possible solutions as to what are some topics they want to discuss, whether it be acknowledgments, so saying pat on the back to someone who did well, or maybe a little problem area that they do want to cover and try and figure out how to fix it. This, like he said, would bring the entirety of Rooterware together, meeting many different people from many different backgrounds and information will be able to give their insight on a solution to the problem, just like we did here at the branch, trying to find a solution for their issue.
Yeah, so we believe these solutions will benefit Rooterware in many ways. And as Sean mentioned before, working at Rooterware isn't just making client connections or hitting your billing hours quota. We believe that attorneys will be more engaged throughout the firm and they'll have an input and an earlier sense of ownership. And the earlier they feel like they're part of a team and a team that values them, they'll be able to stay there long term and to keep working hard for Root Aware.
So what did we learn through this whole experience? We learned a couple things, mostly how to work with people of different backgrounds and ideas. We learned how to use user research and customer discovery, along with how to solve a real world problem and how long that can take in over 10 weeks, or possibly even more. And then using innovation, ideation to come up with solutions for those problems.
One final thing before we go, we would like to say thank you to Root Aware, the branch, and Wausau Chamber of Commerce. More specifically from the branch, we'd like to thank Matt, Kelly, Amy, and the people we interviewed. And from the Chamber of Commerce and the branch, we'd like to thank Kim, Brian, and finally, Megan, our coach. And thank you all for watching our presentation.
Wait, do we have questions? I don't know.
I think they were a little nervous and they talked a little quickly, but they did a fantastic job. We'll be able to ask questions at the end, so hold your questions. And then to the students, I say, don't relax yet, because you may still get questions. So next, we'll hear from Church Mutual Insurance, the other business that's sponsoring and working with a group. So I'm happy to introduce you to Barb Tuszowski from Church Mutual.
Good afternoon, everyone. As mentioned, my name is Barb Tuszowski. I am the Director of Human Resource Operations and Workforce Planning at Church Mutual. We are excited to once again be part of the branch. Church Mutual has a long-standing history. We are celebrating our 125th anniversary this year. And we're heavily involved in bringing the branch to the central Wisconsin area. Church Mutual and our leaders identified a need to provide business challenges to students in our area and have them gain experience with local businesses, in part to help them see the vast employment possibilities available in this area. So my talking points, I didn't know Ann's talking points before I came here today, but are quite aligned. I think all of us in this area are experiencing a similar issue, and being able to provide these opportunities to students benefits us all. We've been fortunate to work on several branch projects. And myself, I've been involved with 2 cohorts and just continue to be amazed by the quality of the students and their ingenuity, their growth. It's fun to see them, from the beginning of the project to where they've come today, and just all the growth that they've had throughout that experience. So again, we recognize the value that this program can provide to the students, the opportunity to solve real-world business problems, as well as to the local businesses and being able to solve these actual business problems. As already mentioned, this is a great opportunity for all involved and can lead to lasting relationships as well as future employment opportunities for the students. And as an HR professional, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that we're hiring, and as is probably all other businesses in this room, but with our organization as well, all of the students, even in the last presentation and the next, there's opportunities here for them, and so all doing our part to keep them here in our local community. So for those that haven't had a chance to be involved in the branch, I would highly recommend that. Again, it's a great opportunity, and somewhat some free labor, right? Get some ideas from the students on how to solve the issues that you may be facing. So our particular project One of our key initiatives within Church Mutual is diversity and inclusion, and we've been on a D&I journey for a number of years. And one of the things we really want to focus on, while we're thinking of recruiting and bringing people into the organization, is how do we keep them once we get them? And so we want to make sure that we have an inclusive work environment, and that once we get someone, they want to stay with us. And so the challenge that we had for our group was, how can our company, Church Mutual, enhance our interview and onboarding processes to be inclusive and accessible to all? So that's what they were tasked with. It was a big project. You can go lots of different ways with this one, and I think you'll see the students have found some good solutions, challenge them in lots of different ways. So with that, I want you to be able to see their great work, so let me introduce the team. We have, do you guys want to come on out, team members? All right, so I'm going to start from the end. We've got Cody Weber from North Central Technical College, Alexis Mosier from UWSP at Wausau, Jasmine Reckner from UWSP at Marshfield, and then we have Zoe Anderson from UWSP here at Wausau, and Jody Peters from North Central Technical College. So without further ado, take it away.
How about now? Hi, welcome to our presentation. Bear with me, I had laryngitis yesterday, and I think I'm sounding pretty good right now. So, Alexis, do you have the clicker? Thank you. This is our presentation for Church Mutual. We are Team Church Mutual, and our presentation is called Belonging from Day One. I am Jody Peters, and I'm studying digital marketing. I'm a continuing student at NTC.
So I'm Jasmine Reckner, and I'm getting my double major in social work and psychology at UWSP.
I'm Zoe Anderson. I go to UWSP at Wausau, and I'm studying business administration.
Cody Weber, and I am studying business management at NTC.
I'm Alexis Moser. I am studying at UWSP Wausau for accounting. How do we make the interviewing and onboarding process inclusive and accessible to all? Do you have the clicker still? Thank you. Our research. We determined... Oh, sure. That was your slide. I'm sorry. I'm ahead of myself.
That's okay. Do you want it?
No, you're good.
So that was a task that we were given. And our research, our customer research, consisted of interviewing a lot of people, employees, hiring managers, disability experts, reading a lot of material, really talking to a lot of people, and when we thought our research was over, we started all over from the beginning, again, over and over again. So we read a lot of journals and articles, and we even applied for jobs at Church Mutual.
Market. So we have determined that Church Mutual's market is potential employees, new hires, and diverse talent. Church Mutual is inclusive of all and encourages diversity and talent. Church Mutual's competition. We have determined that Church Mutual's competition is employees or companies that offer a sense of security, belonging, direction, and feeling valued. And I also believe that they strive for competition with themselves to strive for better and grow to improve their company. Opportunities. We have determined that Church Mutual's opportunities is hiring outside of the area, and of course, diverse talents again, and enhancing Church Mutual's values and commitments to inclusion and accessibility practices.
All right.
So, in order to develop who our customer was, we had the privilege of speaking with 30 different potential customers. These were people not affiliated with Church Mutual, so we could get understanding of what other companies were doing in regards to inclusivity and accessibility, and what our interviewees thought of said practices. Although not all of them fit this criteria, we really made an effort to interview people either recently or currently in the interviewing and onboarding process. And we also wanted to make sure that we hit people who needed accommodations from their employer so we could get an understanding of what that process looked like. So after listening to this, we gained a lot of insight as to what people really valued from their employers, and the first of which being that if a company is going to practice inclusive things, that it really requires full company engagement. Everyone really needs to be making an active effort to practice these things for it to be completely successful. And lastly, people want to feel confident and comfortable when it comes to asking for accommodations, so they really valued when their employer made it very easy to get the accommodations and that they had a very non-judgmental workforce. Lastly, people just felt like they really valued when their employer made them feel like they belonged during the onboarding process. That's a really stressful time period for anyone, and just feeling like you're included just takes a weight off your shoulders. So knowing these three things, we were able to develop our beachhead customer. This is somebody who not only wants to be their authentic self at work, but they also want to be accepted by their coworkers. So again, going back to that inclusive, non-judgmental workforce. So after listening to these issues they had, we were able to develop some opportunities for growth, the first of which being that people really want a seamless onboarding process. As I said, it just takes the weight off your shoulders during that really stressful time period. And lastly, people want to feel confident and comfortable when it comes to the accommodations. Again, that can also be pretty stressful asking for accommodations, so just making an effort to make your employees feel comfortable. So we chose these customers because, as I kind of said before, they gave us an outside look as to what other companies were doing in regards to inclusivity and accessibility. And it also gave us the opportunity to kind of get in the headspace of people who require their company to make inclusive practice, to have inclusive policies so that they feel more welcomed at work. It was really awesome to kind of get things from their perspective. Oh.
So our solution, we decided to go with a two-party peer integration system. You'll have two peers that are able to help set the stage, if you will, for the new hires, kind of introduce them to the culture and get them acquainted much quicker than if they just had to do it on their own.
Okay.
We named it CM, Here For You.
So as Cody touched on, this is a two-person peer system. So the first person is going to be the role peer. And as the name kind of suggests, this is somebody who's going to provide the new hire with guidance for that particular role. So we highly encourage this person either be currently in that new person's job title or that they once held that job title so they have full knowledge of that particular position so they can provide them the best information. So because of this, they are most likely going to be from the same department so that they're able to connect on a regular basis. And this is somebody who is going to be heavily utilized during the onboarding process of a new hire. The second person is going to be the culture peer. So this is somebody who is going to provide the new hire with information on Church Mutual's policies, missions, goals, work culture, etc., so that the new hire can really gain an understanding of who Church Mutual is as a company and what they have to offer their employees, ultimately just making them feel really included from the get-go. So this is also somebody who's going to be working in groups because Church Mutual can have up to like 7 people starting on the same day, so they'll be working with those new hire groups. And so this is also something that we encourage to be from connecting departments of the new hire so that they can also kind of connect on a regular basis. And this is somebody who is going to be implemented during the orientation and onboarding process of the new hires. Oh, my bad.
So who gets to be a peer? Any interested employee can volunteer for this, or managers can appoint peers. These peers will go through any appropriate training that HR feels necessary, so all their bases are covered that way.
All right, so the next step of our solution is the onboarding process. For month 1 of this process, we're going to be doing 2 check-ins per week with your peer. For the role peer, they're going to be focusing on the company processes, taking you through these processes, answering any and all questions about them. They will also be introducing you to people in complementary departments. This is so that when the time comes that they need to reach out to those departments, they already have that contact in place. As for your culture peer, for orientation, one peer may be working with up to 5 employees at a time. This is just so that in that group setting, they have an easier way of making connections and they feel more comfortable doing so. They will also be introducing you to people throughout the company, again, just to get more of that comfort level. As for month 2 of the onboarding process, we're going to be moving down to 1 check-in per week and adding a lunch with your peers. For the role peer, they're going to be focusing on encouragement and feedback. They're going to be helping you go through the steps of how to become your most successful self at Church Mutual and what that looks like for you. As for your culture peer, they're going to be focusing on involvement and really increasing your network at Church Mutual. They're going to be introducing you to all the great opportunities that Church Mutual offers. For example, CM Cares, Dialogue and Diversity Speaker Series, Disability and LGBTQ Inclusion Task Forces, and much more. They will also be talking to you about any abbreviations that the company or departments specifically use. Again, this is just to reinforce that comfort level. As for the following months 3 through 6, and we decided on this 6-month period because our research shows that it was the most beneficial time period for this process. So for these months, we're really just going to be honing in on the key aspects discussed before, introducing them to all the great opportunities Church Mutual offers, keeping an open line of communication between them and their peers, really helping them set up those goals that they can achieve for themselves, and increasing their network throughout the company.
So what does belonging from day one mean? It means integrating new hires, new employees into the culture of Church Mutual starting immediately. A 2021 study by Gallup found that 70% of employees who said that they went through an exceptional onboarding experience also said that that was their best job. And another study by the Bradley Hall Group found that companies that provided a really great onboarding experience that integrated new hires into their culture, they experienced an increase of 82% of new hire retention, and also they experienced 70% productivity increase. The customer experience that we're providing is going to take some burden off of the manager's shoulders, because the new employees are going to be able to get the resources that they need more quickly. And they're going to also be able to more quickly learn Church Mutual's processes and structure and equipment. New employees bring a fresh perspective to a job, and they bring an enthusiasm, they bring new ideas, they bring ideas from their previous employers that maybe can be of a benefit to their new company. This process is going to create a collaborative environment so that they can share their challenges and their successes in the onboarding experience, and this will also help make the onboarding experience better for future new hires. Our program, our solution is unique because it does create this sense of belonging. It creates this connection that makes the employees want to belong to their new role there. And this connection is very key to creating an inclusive environment. Sorry. So thank you. That is the end of our presentation. We would like to thank the Wausau Chamber of Commerce. We would like to thank Church Mutual, and especially Barb and Alex for all of your help, for answering all of our questions and all of our emails. We'd like to thank Kim and Misty for all of your guidance. It was invaluable. And thank you very much. Does anyone have any questions for us?
Bring it.
So this is the point when we get to ask questions of the students. So we'll let the last group settle in. We do have some roving mics, so if you have a question, either Leslie or Brian will catch you with a microphone. I'll ask a question of the first group. Are any of you still considering law? No one?
I don't think any of us are. I think we're all just sticking to business, just plain business.
Did any of you start as law? No. Oh, they're coming back up. That's better. Yeah. I think we should give them another round of applause, though. And maybe for their coaches, too.
Number one, great job, everyone. You very professional, very well thought out. It was great to see the teamwork that was up there, so nice job on that. Am I allowed to ask 2 questions, one for each group? Or?
Sure.
Okay.
It's Friday.
The first group, when in your earlier slides, you said that there was in 2021, there was a 25% turnover rate, I think 23 point something, in the law firms, in the legal business. Did you look into why there was that? Was that an increase over previous years? And how much did that impact or influence the decision on the recommendations you made?
Yeah, so the journal didn't specifically say why it was up 5%. What I would think is that the market was so wide open that an attorney could determine their price instead of the law firm saying, here, this is what we're going to give you, and you take it, or we're giving it to someone else. So that's what I got out of it from the journal article.
Okay, so that with the price or the money part of it being out of the equation, you focused in then on the interpersonal aspect?
I mean, again, it didn't say anything specifically. It just said that it was up 5% from the pandemic. I can only assume because of, people didn't want to come to work because, no one knew the severity of what was going on.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Your turn. When you're looking at the onboarding process and the process that you put up there, how much of the remote working environment was taken into consideration as a result of the pandemic?
We took it slightly into consideration. We were supposed to mention, but we said that communication could be done through Zoom. A lot of the communicating that the peers would do with the new hire could be done potentially on Zoom. Because as of right now, Church Mutual is slowly working on getting back into full person, but they kind of said that in the near future they're not going completely in person. So the Zoom can be completely done with what we offered.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Nice job, both groups. I'm really proud of the work that you did. I have a question for the Church Mutual group. I found it really interesting that you landed on 2 mentors, 2 peers. Can you talk a little bit more about how you came to that decision?
Yeah, so we had like looked into buddy systems, and most companies did just have like one buddy system if they did use it. And we thought it would be really vital for there to be two, so that one could focus specifically on the role, and one could really hit those inclusivity and like accepted like stuff that Church Mutual really wanted us to focus on. And so we thought that it tackled both issues, I guess.
Thank you.
Nice job. I have a question. So the reason that the branch was put into place because we want to retain top talent in our community, and really all of you up on stage I would consider top talent. I'm wondering if this process has either confirmed your commitment to stay in the community after you graduate, or what your thoughts are as you've learned more about these great organizations, Church Mutual and Ruderware. And that's open for anyone to answer.
Well, I guess I can start. To be staying in this area, like working here, I honestly would much prefer it because I have a better understanding of the area, and actually working and helping businesses from the area also increase my want to work here. Wherever I end up is wherever I end up, but I hope it's here, a place where I'm familiar with, and that's basically for my situation.
That's a great answer.
Thank you.
Me personally, I still have 18 years left on my mortgage here in central Wisconsin, so.
Yeah, I'd probably say I'd stay in the area just because I got a lot of family here, you know, but wherever the road takes you, but I would assume central Wisconsin would be the place to stay.
Okay, sure. Yeah, prior to the branch, I definitely was looking, because I'm social work and psychology, and there's a lot more opportunities like down by Madison and Milwaukee area. But actually during this process, I kind of wanted to go into HR. So yeah, I can say, yeah. So I like quickly learned that there are a lot of opportunities for both fields I would be interested in going to around here, and it's not just all down in southern Wisconsin. So yeah, it's kind of eye-opening with that.
So I'm studying software, so I don't know exactly where I'll end up because it kind of comes with the territory of that. But I can say that with Ruderware, they've been a firm for over 100 years now, and they're super community involved, which was interesting to see. Like just the other day, I think I saw an advertisement for like a run or something that was sponsored by Ruderware. So something like that definitely draws my attention to an area, and I've lived in Wausau for most of my life, so you know, I'm proud of that. And yeah, I don't know where I'll end up, but seeing things like that from Ruderware is really nice. So
I think Church Mutual might hire you. We have software.
I'll get some more information later on that.
Thank you. Please go ahead.
I was going to say, the branch definitely made staying in central Wisconsin more of a consideration for me. You know, it's not really growing up here. It's not like the wow, you live in Wausau, but just seeing all the different opportunities that it does offer and being exposed to those was really cool.
So I'm quite a bit older than all of my classmates here. You probably can't tell, but I've been other places and I've come back. So I guess I would like to encourage them all that this is a great area to work.
Here. Thank you. Those were the answers for the people that support this program. That's what we were hoping to hear. So thank you.
Hi, I have a question for the Church Mutual Group. My name is Amber, I'm from Aspirus, and we were wondering if you did, when you're doing your research on those mentorship programs, what types of businesses did you look at? Did you look at healthcare, in different industries, to help make that decision between those two roles?
Yeah, I'll let you answer it. We looked at a lot of industries. We looked at a lot of larger corporations.
Yeah, so a lot of like the tech corporations, like when you think of like Microsoft, Google, like those were kind of the pioneers for like the buddy system. So we really looked at those, and then we just kind of tweaked how it could apply to Church Mutual, particularly with the culture peer. So that's how we kind of developed that. But yeah, it was the tech giants that we looked at.
So for both groups, have you made your presentations to the respective employers?
That just happened.
This was it?
Yeah.
Oh.
So yes, yes.
Yeah, we did a little dry run earlier in the week too, like a more internal, intimate one too. So.
Okay, so how does, like at Root or Where, Amy, how does the board or other shareholders find out what this group came up with?
You're supposed to ask me questions. So my understanding is they have a binder of materials for me, not just the presentation that they offered today. And I'll be able to review those and ask questions of them. And I will take that back to the board at Rooter to figure out what we implement and how and what makes sense internally. And the presentations are recorded.
Thank you.
Thanks for telling us after.
I had a question for the Rooterware team. Did you give any thought, since there are 3 locations, and Church Mutual is the same, as these companies have expanded out of central Wisconsin, you've got 3 different locations. Did you give thought to how to maybe bring people together from different offices?
Well, I guess more or less that's what the workshops are kind of for, is that they can be for the individual branches themselves to work out what they need to work out at their section, but Rootaware, if they so choose, could bring the entire corporation together into a workshop to figure out something that they think that the whole entirety should try and talk about, or to give more an understanding between each people from the different branches as well.
And through the process too, Rootaware does a pretty good job of having involvement across their branches as far as shareholders visiting the different locations pretty consistently. At least that's what we learned. So when we approached our solutions, we kind of wanted them to be flexible enough that they could figure out the harder details to implement them across their 3 branches. Because for us, it would be pretty hard to like figure that out exactly. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And again, you both groups did just such a great job.
Alrighty, congratulations, you guys. As a branch alum, I know what you're going through and good work. So one question for the Rooterware team. You talk about retention and everything that is going on, but did attraction play into that at all? So when you're attracting those new associates, because they're younger in age, Wausau and Green Bay and Eau Claire both are places that pride themselves on like quality of living. Were those things brought up at all in your research?
Yeah, so absolutely. Recruiting was a part of the original project for us. And then over the course of the branch, working with Rooterware, they kind of decided to narrow it down to specifically retainment. So yes, we did look into it, but they helped direct us towards retainment solely, if that answers your question.
Kind of. I'm gonna try again. So you think of law attorneys, you're thinking of bigger cities, and those are the cities that draw. The draw for a smaller, intimate city, was that in play at all?
That more or less came from the fact that the draw to a smaller place is mean you already have some sort of connection there towards the area, or if you're wanting to move somewhere else, maybe a smaller area because you lived in a small area might be better. It's just more about the person's personal preference for like if they want to go to a small city or a big city.
Yeah, and like just some perks that like Rooterware has, like for them, rather than going to like New York or wherever else. Like the community involvement, you probably wouldn't see that much in New York because it's such a big place. So, and then just like other offers they do from within that allow someone to further their law career. I think that's what attracts most people to them, plus the great working environment that we got from them.
I'm going to help Lucas out a little bit here. I'm Nicole Williams, chair of the chamber right now, and work for a company called QPS Employment Group, where we are consistently attracting and trying to retain talent for our customers, which is almost every business in the area. So my biggest question, and I thought Lucas was going to steal it, but I'm going to take it one more level. One of you had it in your presentation about attracting talent outside of the area. I think it was the Church Mutual group on how to get them in and then experience that. Is there anything that you've found, because now you know about Central Wisconsin because you went through the branch, but is there anything that you have found that can attract this talent or let them know about Central Wisconsin or our awesome businesses in this area? How do we do that so that we can get them through this two-peer program and get them through a great onboarding process and get to retain them? Did any of you find anything in particular for either yourselves or through your research to help us with that?
So I'm familiar with a theory that has been expressed to me by several people who work in this area of the big fish in a small pond versus being a small fish in a big pond, which I think has a lot of attraction in being a smaller area, having kind of an outsized influence. That's my answer.
Yeah, I think when you say you're going to try to recruit people from outside the area, it's like, well, how do we do that? Because if they don't know that we're here, how do we get them to know we are here? And I just didn't know if there was anything that pulled out specifically to you to say, okay, how are we going to reach those individuals that maybe didn't go to UW Stevens Point, NTC, or the other campuses in the area? But it's okay. It's okay. I appreciate your honesty, and you guys did a great job.
That's tough, right? Because this is a very homogeneous area. And I think that like our solution, our onboarding solution, I think that was kind of born of looking at other companies and why people are so excited to work for them. Like people move to work for these other companies, and looking at the solutions that they've created to generate this excitement. And I think that's what we were trying to do too, in creating a culture, like a connectedness to the culture of the company. I think that's a very attractive thing to bring people to the area.
Absolutely. If you don't have that, they're not even going to come. Now we got to figure out how to let everybody know that Church Mutual has that amazing culture. So fantastic. Thank you.
And I think if we get more solutions, like what we've seen here today, and companies, they're cognizant of the issue, I think if we continue on with this, it's going to get traction, and eventually we'll hit a tipping point, and then we'll be plumb full.
Hi there, I'm Dawn Burnatz. I'm with Church Mutual, and I have a question for each group. First of all, I want to let you know when the branch kicked off, you did not have to stand on a stage to present. So, bravo, this is not easy. Way to go. I'll start with Rooter Ware, if I could, please. I was thinking about the ideas you proposed, but also thinking we all know that most organizations have pressure on being productive and profitable, right? In a law firm, it might be billable hours, it might be measured with some other analytics. So I was wondering, in your conversations about the activities you proposed, did you think about how you might pitch that to management? What would you argue, what makes it worthwhile? How could you tell them that?
Yeah, so I'll start with our first solution of the monthly kind of social event. That was like right in our minds from the beginning, and that's how we kind of came up with the idea of having a shareholder lead it, because they're already invested in the law firm's success, but not just on like a monetary level, but also like a cultural, a law firm, the culture involved there. And then it also gives people a chance, especially after the past couple years, to get a sort of boost if they need it, because through the pandemic and stuff, things changed a lot, especially on the law firm level, as we learned. The amount of flexibility involved and everything is huge. So we had to keep that in our mind too. But we figured with kind of like a rotation of a shareholder holding their event one time a year, let's say, that it would be an interesting way to kind of get their own involvement into the firm, and they're already a shareholder, so they would hopefully want to do that anyways. And they would be more of like a host. The person organizing it could be someone else. But yeah, that we came up with that idea to kind of solve that problem that you asked about. So.
Okay, thank you. Church Mutual Group. Just wanted to ask you, as part of your challenge, I noticed accessibility was part of the challenge you talked about. So in your research and coming up with your solution, did you address accessibility in particular, or have any thoughts around that you could share?
I'm talking too much. The accessibility in creating these peers who can lead new employees through this process, they can help them figure out if there are accessibility issues, if there are resources that they need. New employees might, they might be a little hesitant to ask for these resources that they need. And by having an advocate and an ally, they have kind of more of a method of communication to figure out what they need. And that was one of the things that our research told us too, is that sometimes people know they need accommodations, but they don't exactly know what those accommodations are. And so this process will also help them figure that out.
So I believe accessibility comes in many shapes and forms. And when we were researching, I actually came across an article that was very helpful that kind of explained how you can be accessible in many different aspects. Lighting, language, like sign language, written language for those that have a hard time seeing. It's just being able to include everybody, no matter what they deal with. Lighting may be sensitive to some people's eyes, so in an office where they have fluorescent lights, it may not be the best. So I think, with accessibility, we are always growing and improving. And I don't think there's ever a point where we won't continue to grow.
Okay, thank you very much. Good job, everybody.
Okay, thank you all. I did want to give the audience an opportunity to ask any questions that they might have about the program. Do any companies that might entertain projects in the future, remember we're taking applications for the fall, anybody have questions that, say, Lucas might be able to answer? Sorry to put you on the spot, Lucas, but that Lucas might be able to answer about the branch. Yes?
I'm actually from Marshfield, but I've worked with all the different central areas, and I was wondering if this program has ever branched out into Marshfield, Stevens Point, Wisconsin Rapids, or do they focus solely on businesses right in the Wausau area?
Well, I can say, so the program started in 2016. It grew for 3 years, and it was at a point in which it was time to tip and branch. And then it was use more funds chopped down because of COVID. And now we're here today, reinvigorating, getting it re-going. And it's that hope for that regional strength, because we know that our employers are growing into those outskirts communities to bring talent in, and that's where the program needs to be. And so if we're going to get through what we're going through right now as far as employee shortage, it's going to take all of us.
Thanks.
Any other questions about the program? I think our students got lost back there. I want to thank them for what they did here, because it is hard to get up on the big stage, as Dawn said, to give a presentation, much less stand there and take Q&A. So kudos to them, and nice preparation. Next, I'd like to introduce Dr. Kevin Newman from UW-Stevens Point, and he'll present the students with their certificates. That's why they're still up here.
Thanks. Well, hello, everybody. I'm really excited to be here. As Ann said, I'm the head of the School of Business and Economics at UW-Stevens Point. I have a variety of reasons why I'm excited about the branch program and why we really stepped in to participate as strongly as we did. On a personal level, I really appreciate the Wausau community. I grew up in Minocqua. I made the poor decision to attend a different UW institution, but I did find my way home. So I would repeat to the students, although it is harder to hear back there than you think, that you may not think you're sticking around, but many will come back. And there is that value, and it is the community, and when you get other places, you realize just what Central Wisconsin does have to offer. And I do think we have a wonderful community that we do need to promote, and we will help with the talent promotion, or talent retention and attraction issue in that manner. But I've also attended a lot of events on this campus, been on this stage before, so as a student, so it's always in high school, so it's always fun to come back and be on the other side of things. From a programmatic aspect, the branch just matches everything that we're doing as a School of Business and Economics. Our mission is to create career-ready graduates through applied learning, and the branch obviously is that. So we're getting students out into the communities, working with businesses. The communication skills that you get from being on a stage with a very different audience than their fellow students. You ask very different questions and have a different presence, and that experience is invaluable. It also is a great representation because this program just is really spreads across all of the communities that we hope to represent. In the School of Business and Economics, we believe strongly in the one university, three campus idea. All of our programs are available on all three of the campuses. So we have your first 2 years here on the Wausau and Marshfield campus. We have a degree completion program on the Wausau and Marshfield campuses as well that's designed for someone who's coming back in the evening, a hybrid, flexible solution that we know students need. And we have fantastic articulation programs actually with area technical schools, NTC and Midstate being the most prominent. Most generous for any AACSB accredited business school in the state. We can get you in and we're giving you credits towards your actual degree rather than just towards the 120. We can get business management and digital marketing, just saying, we can get you out in 4 semesters, if not earlier. But also, it's really the issue that we heard in both of these groups and from the audience. It's the talent attraction and retention. I view my role as the head of the School of Business and Economics to engage with our community partners. We are a source where people who maybe don't know that much about the quality of life in Central Wisconsin, we have a draw with the university to come to Central Wisconsin. And what we find is the more we connect them with our partners, they stick around. And it's that link that is what we really believe is such a strong part of our mission as a school. And so we are one of the branches, one of the ways that we do this, of course, but we also are one of only 3 schools in the state, business schools in the state, to require a 3-credit internship. So it's that engagement with the community and the business partners as well. So any of you who are in the audience talking about future branch programs, which incidentally, the community attraction from the chamber, that seems like a branch question for next time, I think. That's a problem. But anybody, if you're looking for interns at any level, we have that to offer as well. And our internship director, Ricardo Boeing's over hiding in the corner. We'll drag him in later. But that's a little bit about what we do, and I'm really excited to be here on Wausau campus and in the community to support the branch program. So with that said, I now would like to present our certificates of completion to congratulate our students. We'll see if I have them right way. Sometimes I feel like I should flip them over and start with the back of the alphabet because I know that people are used to waiting. So anyway, we'll start in the front. So first, Zoe Anderson. All right, next up, Aaron Baker. Audrey Cleveland. Alexis Mosier. Alexia Nelson. Lisandro Ortiz. Jasmine Reckner. Gabriel Wykes. Well, thank you, everyone. Congratulations to the UW-Wisconsin Stevens Point, Wausau, Marshfield, and Stevens Point students. And now I'd like to introduce Brad Gast from North Central Technical College.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Brad Gast. I am Dean of Workforce Training, Professional Development, and Apprenticeship at North Central Technical College. It's an honor and a pleasure to see everybody here today, and just like Kevin just spoke, everybody's here. You can stay on stage. I'm encouraging pictures, so I told them to stay on stage. Like everybody that spoke previously, what we're seeing at North Central Technical College, like all of you, is the workforce shortage hit central Wisconsin. And I can't go to a company without them saying, hey, we have 50 job openings, we have 40 in this area, we have 50 over here. It is amazing, the job opportunities right here in central Wisconsin. And the issues that were spoke of today are the issues that all of our companies are facing. And as a region, this program is really designed to look closely at those issues and raise central Wisconsin up on the map. We are not going to solve by keeping everybody here. There's more jobs than we have people. So these young men and women that we have here today, we need to keep this top talent here in central Wisconsin. We need to keep our businesses strong in central Wisconsin. And with partnerships like the branch, NTC is committed, along with UW Stevens Point, to do whatever it takes to keep these young men and women here in our area. As you can see, they have outstanding solutions. It looks like they had about 5 or 6 job offers already as they were speaking out here. I don't think they're going to get out of this building without a job offer. But we have great talent here in central Wisconsin, and it is critical that these folks stay here, work in our places of business, and a couple of them even touched on our community. We have a strategic advantage of being close-knit, having community service be one of our core principles and values in our area, and the companies that were represented today, both Ruderware and Church Mutual, represent that as well, so we thank you for your leadership in those areas as well. So this is something that we're never going to solve in one sitting here, but this is a start. And like we said, this branch program continue to encourage other companies to get involved. This is part of the solution. We want to continue to engage these young men and women, engage them into the companies. They drive by your building almost every day, never see the inside. So they don't know the great opportunities they have within your building. We want to encourage your companies and other companies to continue to be engaged with these folks. So without further ado, I will announce the NTC students. Sean Bohan. Jody Peters. Cody Weber. And how about one more round of applause for all of our graduates today? Great. And I'm going to turn it back over to Ann for final remarks. Thank you.
All right, did we get plenty of pictures? Good. All right. One more round of applause. Thank you. All right. Well, that concludes this semester's demo day. We'll look forward to the fall event, and then hopefully folks will hang around and mingle and further grill the students. Thanks for coming. Enjoy the weekend, and happy Mother's Day to every mom out there.